Testing audio. Seems to be working. Okay, so I guess let's get started. The reason why I kind of wanted to share this with you guys is because this is kind of a pivotal point for Ethereum. It has been a really interesting, rally. Now we had huge, crazy dumps zooming out. So we go from this point around 3,600, and then we will draw a diagram here with the resistance, kind of with this bearish trend, all the way down to here, and then we'll draw a little bit of a support. It doesn't really matter where you draw it. You can kind of see maybe some of these overextensions down, kind of these dips, but more or less somewhere in this general area, we can see that we had a little bit of support here at around 2970, 2980. Here we kind of fell past that point, so this was also kind of another scary moment for Ethereum. Then we rallied just a little bit higher up, but not enough to continue the uptrend. So from this point, we had this really nice rise up to 3170, 3160, that general area. And then what happened? So we had the support at around 2740, 2750, around this area. And luckily it kind of made a small recovery, and it just kind of settled in for a little bit. We dipped a little bit further, and then what happened today is actually quite interesting. So we actually went past the resistance, the bearish resistance. So if you take a look at this area here, we're actually, for the first time in just a few weeks, actually, in about a week since September 16 actually, we've broke through the resistance. So this is a really interesting key moment here. So we're at about 3060, 3050, and it's just been kind of hovering back and forth. If you just kind of look at a 5-minute candle, you can see it's just kind of stuck there. So it's just going up and down, but the general trend is again kind of actually in a reversal. So we're finally ascending. So for the first day since about 2 weeks, we've actually been, we broke through, you can see, we broke through this resistance level at, about 3,000 more or less, 2980, 2990. You can see that this is the first time we've actually went past that resistance, and now we're above it. And so this is a really interesting point for Ethereum, because now we have to ask ourselves the question, what is going to happen? Are we going to see an upside, or are we going to see a substantial downside? Let's reset the graph, and let's go all the way back to the beginning of the year. Obviously, November, December, we had some tremendous growth for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for a lot of crypto. And now, if we just go back, more or less back to January 21st, here, let's just draw a general line. So if we just zoom out, let's delete that didn't work. Gonna make it. There we go. So here we go. We'll just draw this support here right through the key support areas, and we'll kind of just briefly touch on this. And so if you just look at this kind of barrier of resistance and support, you can actually see that we're still in a bullish trend. And even though we had these key moments where we kind of extended a little bit too high, so that you can see this resistance here. If you just kind of zoom in, this is exactly what you would expect. So this is at this point at around $800, $900, and if it surpasses $1,000, what is actually going to happen with it? You can see it extended up to 1,300 and fell down below the $1,000 threshold. And I remember this key point as well, because at this point I was also kind of questioning, what will happen after this point? Will it continue trickling down back to the 500, 400 area, or will it continue going up? But as we can see from the graphs, it just kind of hovered up and down, kind of through this median support here. It's past this a little bit, and then kind of dipped down. It touched it, then dipped down, as you can see, up to like 1,400 or so, down to about 1,050, 1,070, then went up a little bit higher, almost to 1,500, and then kind of went down again. And then we had this really nice rally again. We went up to 2,000, and you can see the support level. Like, look how accurate this is. This is just like, this is perfect. This is another psychological level for Ethereum. So $2,000, and what happens after that? It trickled all the way down, to 1,300. So what kind of correction is that? That's like, let's see, Yeah, about 34% or so. So 36, almost 40% correction. That's quite substantial. But luckily it continued. So it had this support here at this support level, then went up again kind of to this middle support line, just the median here. As soon as it kind of goes above it, you can see it just trickles a little bit down, goes up again, trickles down. Again, when it started kind of falling down to 1500, we still had some sort of support here. So that's great. So we had the support and that worked out really well. And what happened after that in March, April, we remember the rally just really kind of taking off. Now look at what happened in April, on April 15th. This was another kind of key moment here. We were coming closer to 3,000. Everyone was thinking, well, are we going to hit 3,000 this time? Are we going to go higher, or is it going to go lower? But at around 2,500, just as it surpassed this kind of resistance, it tumbled down again. So we had a kind of a substantial correction. So if we just measure this more or less, yeah, we had about 24-25% correction. And so that's substantial again. And then right after with this, luckily, we didn't go all the way down to like 1800 or so, but we continued going up. And what happened again when we passed this resistance? Same exact thing. So look at this, right past this section, past this line of resistance, we had another pretty substantial correction. So what is this? It's about 21% or so. And if you can see this, interestingly enough, it didn't go down all the way to the support that we had earlier. So what does this mean for Ethereum? It was actually building up strength. So the support is actually even higher now. So it's getting it at this point. It's kind of a key signal that it's already kind of almost extending a little bit too far. And what happened after this? After the third time that we broke it, so that's 1, 2. Then what happened the third time that we kind of went past this resistance? So at this point, when we go past this resistance, you can see it. You can see the graph. Like this is just crazy. So we had this insane breakout. So maybe going from this point, from kind of the low point, the median support, it rallied literally. Look at this, 100%. So we'll do this more or less 99. So we had this massive growth. And naturally, what would happen? So everyone was at a stage of euphoria. Everyone was incredibly happy. We thought the sky is the limit. So here we go. We're just getting started, and we're going to go to 10K within a few weeks. But that's not the reality. That's not what happened. The sad reality is, we had this massive correction all the way down to 1700. 1700. That's huge. So let me actually erase this. That was a 60% correction, and it's not like we haven't seen these before. A few years back, obviously this does happen, and this is normal. This is perfectly fine. But so at this point, everyone started kind of panicking, and is this the end? Is this the end of crypto? Is this the end of Ethereum? So after this kind of massive dump, this is just a wick there. This is not an actual close, so we didn't actually close below the support level, but it did certainly dip down below the support level. So that was a scary moment. And anytime you see these kinds of wicks that are really extended, you just kind of have to make a mental note, and you kind of have to tell yourself that if somebody, if the market actually went down that far, and even though we closed here, it doesn't really, it's good news for the short term. Obviously, it rebounded past the kind of resistance again. So we went past this resistance, as you can see. But what happened? It didn't last too long, and it didn't have enough strength to continue. Unfortunately, it fell and actually broke the support level for the first time since. Let's take a look at this. When was this? Since March 25th. So that's several months. Like that was already kind of a significant problem for the general bullish outlook. But as you can see, it rebounded again, went up to this kind of resistance, like large scale macro. Well, let's say this is the large scale run here. And again, unfortunately, it wasn't able to hold it. So here's the thing: we went past this, and it went all the way down again to the support. Continued going up. You can see this is just like absolutely just perfect, the resistance and the support levels. But at this point, people were asking, is this the dead cat bounce? it kind of almost looks like it. And unfortunately, after kind of after making a few attempts here, so this is like one, right? The first attempt, second attempt to break through, the third attempt, and unfortunately at the third attempt, that's it. The market was exhausted. So everyone was tired, and you know, it just continued trickling down. Unfortunately, it touched the support here, went up to kind of the median right there, the middle line here, dashed line, then kind of went back down up to the middle, and then we broke it. We broke it, and then this was a really, really bad kind of low point. So at this point, let's actually delete all of these lines. Anyway, let's keep going. And so this is where Ethereum was trading essentially from June 16th all the way up to maybe like August 21st. So just you know, a month or so, or a month and a half, almost 2 months there, of just essentially, you know, trading below, you know, the support. So this almost kind of became a resistance now. You could, if you wanted to, you could just maybe nudge this down already, but as soon as it started coming up a little bit, it didn't have enough strength. So that was a scary moment. But once we were at this point, everything started kind of rallying up again. And then I remember this part, Ethereum kind of went into this area of, you know, the long-term, you know, bullish kind of outlook, and it started trading there, but it never actually went up to you know, its kind of high resistance, or its like long-term resistance line, which would have been about 35 or so, or 34, depending on where you're looking at. But it was kind of trading between this like middle dashed support and the support again. So it was kind of nudging, and it was kind of consolidating. So then it was consolidating for a few weeks. I remember this point, August 7th all the way to like the end of August, it literally didn't do anything. So we had this massive rally in the kind of the end of July, first week of August. We had this short little bull run, and then it just started consolidating. And then at this point here, this was kind of the interesting point. It literally just kind of skyrocketed, and it broke through the resistance. And so this was a kind of an interesting point for Ethereum, because this is the first time it broke this area here, right? And what happened? It went even further. So even at this point, everyone was like, okay, here we go, 10,000 Ethereum, this is gonna happen. But what happened here is, unfortunately, it started consolidating, didn't go anyway, it just went completely sideways. So on a micro level, it started consolidating, kind of similar to what we saw here on a big scale. And everyone kind of hoped that we're gonna do this kind of thing, right? We're just gonna go straight up. So for same thing here, like if we circle this area, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go straight up. We're gonna go straight up even further, make new all-time highs, but that's not what happened. The reality of the situation is it completely just flash crashed. And you know, here's the point of the kind of also the video, and I don't understand why no one talks about this. Nobody talks about this whatsoever, to be honest. And everyone asks, oh, you know, why did it crash? What happened with Ethereum here? What happened in September, or like the first week of September? Labor Day. So what happened? It was Labor Day. And historically, for the past decade, every September for the past, like 10 years or so, it hasn't been a good month for crypto. So we had this breakthrough through the resistance line. It continued going up slightly, went sideways for a little bit for a few days, and then boom, crash. And what happened? It went all the way down to like 3,000, 2,900. And you can see again, it's just a wick. It didn't actually close there, but it did go past the support. So the long, the macro bullish support. And now what happened after that? It went up a little bit higher, didn't have enough energy to go higher, and then just continued trickling down a little bit. And you can see how perfect the support level is. It touched 3,100 and then went up again. And then at this point, when we went up to 3,600, unfortunately, again, so kind of the third time, 1, 2, 3, didn't have enough energy to continue going up. And what happened? Well, we went down. And so now this is where we are today. And so this is an interesting point for Ethereum, because really anything can happen from this point. We're above $3,000, but on a larger scale, if you just zoom out, we're again, unfortunately, trading below the support. So if you look at this section here back in like June 20th or whatever, we had something similar here. And what happened? Well, we didn't return to any of these levels at all for at least, let's measure the time. So there you go. So 50 days, almost 2 months until we were able to actually come back to the, to the support, the large kind of support line. And to be quite honest, from this point, no one really knows what's going to happen, because more or less, we're going to kind of either stay in this general area. So it'll take probably a few weeks until we will see it coming closer to 3,400, 3,600. But you never know with these markets, right? Looking at this from a larger perspective. So if we just kind of almost try to figure out what is the median, the price, like what is the average price here? This is why this is also interesting, is if we just kind of go from here, so we'll go down to this point, that's about 60%. And now if we just do more or less the same thing, now 30%, half of that. Okay, that camera just died. Okay, so here we go, guys. 30% is what? 3,040. 3,040, more or less. I mean, you can move it up or down or whatever. Same thing if you just kind of draw it downwards. We're at kind of like an average price. So it's really been consolidating for this entire time since May. And so now we're literally at this point, interesting point here, if you just zoom in, where we're kind of at the average, median kind of place for the price for Ethereum. So this is absolutely healthy. This is exactly where it should be. The issue is what's going to happen next. And the thing is, we don't really know, do we? So we have these supports for the general outlook for Ethereum coming back up to 4,000, and hopefully within a few weeks, hopefully maybe a few months, making new all-time highs. Today I just wanted to make a video about Ethereum and just taking a look at the price and seeing what's actually happening with it, because it is at a pivotal point in its life, and we have to figure out what's going to happen afterwards. So if you're new to this channel, if you're the first one watching this channel, be the first one to subscribe. So consider subscribing to the channel if you like the content. We're going to be uploading a lot more videos, so just tune in and hit the subscribe button.